Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty, and joining me is Mike B, as always. Yeah, let's just roll with it. It came out that way. You heard it. Keep going.
What it do? You sound so special right now. Like, what's going on?
Intro, what, 3 times now?
I don't know what's going on. Did we take we like me and JT take shots before we record?
So I ain't took no
that's
shot.
Understandable. But for you, you was eating some chicken pasta, and now you all discombobulated. How are you, Novelty?
I am wonderful, and you?
I'm fine. I'm doing great. No complaints, actually.
Well, that's good.
Did you hear a ghost over there? Like, what happened?
I heard something. Oh, Jesus Christ.
What? You see somebody over there?
No, I saw the side of the TV and I thought the door was open.
Oh my goodness. Like, have you actually been drinking?
No, I swear I haven't.
Have you taken anything from strangers?
I went to Quick Trip and got a hot dog. Maybe that's it. Maybe it was something in the hot dog.
Yeah, something injected into it. Because you real weird right now. Anyway.
Okay. Get myself together here. So how was your week?
My week was good. Well, my 2 weeks were good.
Well, 2 weeks.
Nothing going on. It's always the same old with me. Even though I don't do too much, I still do a little bit more than you. As far as getting outside the house.
Well, everybody does a little bit more than me getting outside the house.
I agree.
Anywho. Okay, so when you talk to your grandmother and you get well, first of all, do you even talk to your grandmother on the phone?
Nope.
Okay, that would be the problem. See, this is my problem. I got this new problem. When I'm talking to my mom or my aunt on the phone and I say, okay, I'm getting ready to leave, so I got to go, they always want to know where I'm going.
And you feel like you've grown, so you shouldn't have to share that information?
I feel like I'm 44 years old. Really? Are you asking me this question? And every once in a while, it doesn't really bother me, but it's just I've noticed that it's every single time. Where you going? What you doing?
Well, why don't you just say, well, I'm about to get off the phone now, and then just leave?
No, I think I'm going to respond when I'm going to the strip club or going to get me some. And maybe they'll stop asking.
No, they won't, because they know you ain't going down one of them places. Now, if you respond like old folk do, minding and leaving, then they might get pissed off enough to leave you alone and stop asking.
No, they might get pissed off enough to hit me at that point. So
y'all on the phone, so you got some time until you see them.
Yeah, and they won't forget that. They'll forget everything else, but not that. But yeah, my mom and my aunt still ask me, where you going?
I think it's just like a natural reaction or a natural question that people ask. If they find out you're going somewhere, they want to know. Like my coworkers, anytime if I'm late or anytime I don't show up, they're like, so where were you yesterday? Or why were you late? Like, none of your business. As long as the boss man know, I ain't got to tell you nothing. But it's just something that people are nosy. And you, of all people, should understand.
Yeah, I guess,
you are
I'm very nosy.
Who you telling? I was about to give you the nosy award.
And I will gladly accept. I know I am nosy. I guess I shouldn't be offended at all.
Everybody's business. I mean, people that you don't even know you in their business. You nosy.
Yeah, I'm
about to make you an award right now.
I can't even deny that because I have asked people that I don't know all kind of questions. So, okay, moving on. Let's get off of me now. This conversation was not supposed to turn on me.
But I understand. Just older people, not old people. Older people just wanting to know, making sure you're okay. Making sure you ain't about to go, to the strip club and do something crazy.
I swear the next time they ask, I'm going to tell them the strip club and see what happened. I'll share when it happens. I will definitely share.
You should actually go to the strip club and you might have a good time.
No thanks.
So maybe strip club, maybe you should say church instead of strip club, because they wouldn't believe you were going to church.
No, I mean they might believe I'm going to church.
I think that would
ask. That would start another conversation though. It would start another. Oh, really? What denomination? Where you going? Who you going with? It would start a whole nother conversation. But no, the strip club will be more fun.
Okay, we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah,
it should be an experiment.
It's definitely gonna be.
I got a feeling that they really don't care where you're going. It's just a natural thing, like where you're going. We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, moving on. You got a bay for me?
Yes. This week's Black Achievement and Excellence, we are awarding to Darius Washington, 16, from Monroe, Louisiana, who got a perfect score on his ACTs. Do you remember taking the ACT? Or did you take the ACT?
I did not take the ACT. I took the SAT.
The SAT. Did you score perfect?
No.
I think I took the ACT one time. I think I got like a 20 or something like that, which wasn't good, especially when a 16-year-old got a 36. I feel like I'm special a little bit, but it was enough to get me in college.
Right.
So I guess that was all I needed. But I would have loved to get more scholarships if that was the case.
SATs, I know you scored in the hundreds, and I have no, I don't know if I did.
Well,
1800
that was probably
or
one of the first SAT scores they had back then. When
you
were
about
going
to get cussed out. You really about to get cussed out.
I'm just saying. I think the test may have changed a little bit since you.
No, the test may have changed since I've been in high school, but
even the scoring. No.
Anyway, they scored differently, but even still, I don't think I did all that great. But I didn't. I mean, I got scored enough to get into college.
Right on.
That's all that I cared about.
That's all I cared about too. One of the things that the article goes to mention is that he took the test, multiple times, and he kind of learned what's going to be on the test. So now he uses that to teach other people about taking the test. So he's using his knowledge. He got a perfect score, and now he's helping other people get good grades.
So did it say he took the practice test or the actual?
No, this is
test
the actual
itself?
Test itself. He got a 36.
Multiple, but no, he took it multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times.
So what did he get on the first? I mean, didn't that score? Did it not go to his education? How did they do that?
I don't know.
I would love to know. I would love to know how they did that.
But shout out to him. Did you hear about Colin Kaepernick being a GQ Citizen of the Year?
Yes.
What did you think about that?
I thought it was cool. He wasn't the only one, but I thought it was real cool.
I thought it was cool. I think he got the cover, or did they have multiple covers?
They had multiple covers,
okay.
like 4 or 5 covers.
I thought it was cool. But one of my friends came over, and we were talking about him starting a sports show. And one of the things he brought up was Colin Kaepernick and how he doesn't really care for him. And of course, we talk about him a lot on this show, and usually we're giving him props for some stuff that he's doing in the community or donating to this organization or whatever. And I'm like, well, why don't you like him? He's like, well, he's not relatable to people. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? What makes him not relatable? I said, I relate to him because what he's talking about, like his message, is speaking up for people who can't speak up about issues in my community. He's like, well, he doesn't go through any of that stuff. He has money, so
is this a black guy or a white guy?
Based on what I'm saying, good and hell well, this is not a black person. Okay. This is one of my white friends.
Just double check it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is one of my white friends. And so I thought it was interesting that, from his perspective, he couldn't relate or understand why people were able to relate to Colin Kaepernick in the black community when his experiences aren't the same experiences. I said, no matter how much money he has, at the end of the day, they're still viewing him as a black man. So he's going to go through, even if it's not to the same extent of what I go through, he's still going to go through some shit. And look at how they're treating him right now because he's a black man speaking out for black people and the injustices that we deal with as far as police brutality. And you can't. Oh, of course you can't relate because you ain't been through nothing.
Well, the other thing is he wasn't always a rich black man.
I think people fail to realize that, or maybe they don't care. As we were having a conversation, I realized that he wasn't trying to understand, and it's one of those people where I was like, you know what? Okay. Where why am I wasting my time arguing? He's like, well, he doesn't really do anything. I said, really? He doesn't do anything. And I started naming off all the stuff that we've talked about that Colin Kaepernick has done, which he didn't know anything about because he didn't care to know about them. He just, feels some type of way about this black man protesting the national anthem, like they always say. And it's like, really? I had to change the subject or end the friendship.
And you good for ending the friendship.
I don't give 2 shits. I will end it quick, and not think twice about it. But I thought that was weird. So, an honorary mention to Colin Kaepernick's GQ Citizen of the Year. All right.
Cool.
As I go replace my eardrums.
Anywho. So, okay, I'm going to talk about something that actually isn't on my list because I wasn't planning on bringing it up, but it just made me think about it. The 3 little black boys that took their butts over to China and decided to steal some sunglasses.
The 3 little black boys.
Because that's what I'm calling them right now. These 3 little black boys.
Uh-huh.
I am so disappointed. Okay, I don't know nothing about now. I know this little ball boy, his daddy's some hot stuff and his brother's some hot stuff, but I ain't never seen none of them play. Okay, I'm not a sports person. The last time I watched basketball, I was in high school. That was 20 years ago. Okay, so I'm not, I'm just not a big sports person, but I've heard of these ball people. And when I say ball people, that's their last name. I'm not
last name is
referring to ball.
And the 3 players that you're referring to who went over to China and acted ridiculous is LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill.
First and foremost, I know y'all mamas taught y'all better than that. Walking out the house, when you walk out the house, you represent your parents. Don't walk out the house and act a fool because you make your mama and your daddy look like a fool.
But even when your parents teach you the right thing to do, sometimes you get around your friends and they have more of an influence on you. Which you just do dumb stuff. And they all 3 played for UCLA. They were over in China to play some type of exhibition game or something like that. And you just go ahead.
No. If you're going to do dumb stuff, you do dumb stuff in your own country where you know the laws. You don't do dumb stuff in another country. They did not have to let them go home.
True. I agree.
Now, these 3 little black boys had to say thank you to Agent Orange. That in itself is a punishment.
I was thinking about that because when we heard the news that they were being held over in China for, theft, I said, say it ain't so. I'm waiting. I said, I need more. I need more information.
I thought it was BS. I thought they was lying on them and trying to throw them in jail. I really did.
Exactly. I said, I need more information because I refuse to believe that they don't know better than to go to another country, not another city, another state, another country, and commit a crime.
And not just a crime that's a crime in America too.
The same, yeah. And I said, what if they need the assistance of 45 to get back? I said I wouldn't do it simply because of that. I wouldn't want to have to say anything to this man.
Right. Now you got to stand up and you got to say thank you to this idiot. So now your mom and daddies is really mad because they had to say thank you to Agent Orange.
But hey, they shouldn't be dumb. And that was to me, that was a dumb move. Like we can blame it on, their age or whatever, but they're in college and you should know better. I feel you should know better. Maybe they don't. Okay. But I feel like you should know better.
So now the crime has been done. And honestly, this is what I say. They got suspended indefinitely. That's good. The school needs to suspend them. The government needs to put them on some kind of probation, some way, because the United States government actually had to step in to get them out of there.
Right.
Because Agent Orange,
or at least that's what it seems like.
Right.
We know
Agent Orange said he had a conversation, and a few
days
days later they came home.
But we also can't always.
I know.
All he had to do was post on Twitter that he had this conversation, and that may have put pressure on the president of China.
Even if that's all he did, and that put pressure on that the leader of China, and he did it, he went on and let him free. It's because of something Agent Orange did, regardless. So as far as I'm concerned,
well, he got his thank you. That's all it takes.
But even my thing is, the federal government had to step in. There should be, because of that, and we already got crazy relations with everybody with Agent Orange in charge anyway. Because of that, to show China that we are not going to just let our citizens get away with stuff we wouldn't let them get away with in our country,
right,
over there, then there needs to be some type of punishment. No, I'm not saying they need to go to jail. No, I'm not saying they need to be kicked out of school. I am saying that there should be some type of probation on campus or something. There needs to be a little bit more. And then their mamas and their daddies need to beat their butts. They still young enough to get their butts beat.
I don't know about that.
Hey,
that's still frowned upon.
I don't care. We need to stop sparing the rod and start making some decent citizens. This is crazy. Just idiots.
I agree with that. Now, I hadn't thought about that aspect of it. The fact that the federal government had to step in. There needs to be at least some type of stern rebuke, something, you know what I mean?
Right, to let another country know, hey, this is not acceptable. Our people are not going to come over and disrespect you, and if they do,
now did we do anything when Lochte, as far as U.S., when the swimmer went to the Olympics down wherever and started tearing up the Oh, well, hell, that means that ain't what we do.
We should have did something then, too.
He was on Dancing with the Stars trying to get his rep back,
Anywho. So, anyway, couple of things. Well, the only thing we really going to talk about that got anything to do with politics is Al Franken.
Okay.
I am disappointed, but I am not surprised.
Why you say that? Well, you want to tell them what you're talking about first?
Al Franken playing You ever watch Girls Just Want to Have Fun? It was an old 80s movie with Sarah Jessica Parker. And there was this game, and you had to call Tokyo, and the woman had to put her hands on the back of her head. And to call Tokyo, her boobs were the panel, the dials. Okay. So he was twisting the dials, calling Tokyo, or something like that. And that's all I think about when I see this picture of Al Franken with his hands on this woman's chest while she's sleeping. Uh-huh. And he also forcibly stuck his tongue down her throat under the guise of practicing a scene for a comedy skit they were doing. So, unfortunately, Al Franken is now in the mix of this sexual harassment mess. And he's been one of those calling for Roy Moore to step down, and
who was running for senator in
Alabama and got a lot of charges against him with sexually harassing teens, harassing young women.
They made him sound like R. Kelly. Like he was like searching the schools and the malls. The malls
got him locked out. He can't go on the mall. I mean, really.
As a grown ass man, that's ridiculous.
So, you know,
and that's Roy Moore we're referring to, not Al Franken.
Right, that's Roy Moore. Now, Al Franken, granted, when he did what he did, he was a comedian. He was not in politics at the time, but still. It was something that he should have never done. I'm very, very disappointed in him about this. However, I'm not shocked. I don't think anybody would shock me. Yeah, I don't think it would come out. Anybody coming out at this point would shock me except one person, Obama. I would be shocked to hear that he
I wouldn't
did
be
that.
shocked. I mean, because you never know what somebody was doing back in the day.
I know.
You also never know how somebody took what they did.
And I understand that, but I'm saying the reason I would be shocked is because of the type of family and the type of person he has been exhibiting for so many years. Not just the 12 he was president. It was the person
the
he
8
was.
years he was president.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I'm like, I didn't know about that third term.
4 years before that, when he had just kind of started his
stepped
move
on
up.
the scene. Yeah.
That's where my 12 came from. But anyway, just
but he's still human.
He's
still able to make mistakes.
What I'm saying is, it would just shock me to hear that. I am disappointed, but anybody else? The culture in this country, since the culture in most countries, since the beginning of time, it's not like it was a culture shift or anything. This has been since Adam and Eve, since the beginning of time, as women were less than that man. That man was more powerful. He was the leader of the head of the home. He was the this, he was the that. It's been that way since the beginning of time. So all of these allegations coming out are not shocking. But what bothers me and what pisses me off, especially about that Al Franken picture, somebody took that picture. Who else was on that plane? It's all the people that are sitting there watching these things happen, and they don't say anything about it. Now, don't get me wrong. Some things can go on and you can be oblivious to them and you might not see them. But the person who took that picture knew good and well she was sleeping. That was wrong. It's not funny.
Oh, no, yes, it's not funny because of the way that we're looking at it now. But I know there have been several situations, especially growing up in a household with a bunch of people, a bunch of kids, whether it's family or not, or just spending a night over one of your best friend's house. And then you wake up and you find out there's pictures with balls on your forehead. Like, you didn't consent to that. Like, this is what happens. And I think it was maybe one of those situations where they didn't think, that it wasn't funny. This was for a joke. I'm not saying that that's what, their excuse is, but I can see people doing stuff like this thinking that it's funny, not really, even the camera person, whoever took the photo, not thinking that it's, sexual harassment. That probably never even crossed their minds. Yes, the girl was, she was asleep, but I'm sure they probably, knowing that he's a comedian and he may have like vulgar comedy or whatever, they just saw the joke in it and not saw that this lady may not be okay with this.
And that may be true, but that person sitting in the HR department when Harvey Weinstein was reported multiple times, who pretty much did nothing about it.
Yeah, I
that
feel
person is
that's
guilty.
different.
That lawyer who sits up and puts these contracts together, who sits up and says, okay, well, we gonna pay you all this money if you keep quiet about this incident.
Yes,
that person is guilty.
I agree with you.
No, some people may, like I said, some people may be oblivious to things and not really pay attention and not see it. Those people, that's a different story.
Right.
But those people who know good and dang on well, who feel some kind of way about this, something ain't right about this. They need to speak up.
There are times where you have a funny feeling. Yeah.
Right. These are the people I'm mad at.
I agree with you.
I'm pissed off because this system that has been perpetuated. You look at the Bill Cosby incident. You look at the Harvey Weinstein incident. You look at the what's his name? The comedian. Oh,
Louis C.K.
Yes, Louis C.K. And everybody says the same thing. Oh, this was an industry secret. Everybody knew it was going on.
Now, yeah, the people that are keeping the industry secret, like, I could, yeah.
Why, if you know this situation is happening, at the least, okay, you might not feel like you can go to your boss. You might not feel like you can go to HR, but you don't feel like it's a duty or you should in any way go to the person behind you and say, hey, if I was you, I wouldn't do that.
But it's a problem that you don't feel like you can go to your boss or you can go to
that's
whoever.
That's another problem.
That's a problem.
That is another problem. So it's not necessarily with Al Franken. I'm pissed. I'm disappointed. But ultimately, I'm more angry with the people that allowed it to happen. Mm-hmm. The same with Weinstein. Now, Harvey Weinstein is gross and needs to go to jail, as far as I'm concerned. He done raped multiple women. But I'm more pissed off at the people who surrounded it and just said it was, oh, well, okay. It's
like secret. It was just a norm.
It's cool. This is what you do. These are the people that perpetuate the situation and make it harder for every woman in America. Because realize this is just Hollywood we talking about. We're not talking about Jane Doe and her job up on the hill.
Right.
Who she's having problems with, and we're not even talking about Congress. And now this is real. I mean, I said Al Franken, but this is Congress, and the sexual harassment and the way they treat sexual harassment in Congress is terrible. You got to go through 50 million steps just to get it reported and do anything about it. And then finally, what they do in the end is they pay you off, and guess who pays for that?
We do. Taxpayers. Yeah.
$15 million. To pay off sexual harassment in Congress, and that's coming out of our pocket.
And then
I
don't recall us hearing about it until now.
Well,
I mean, we may have heard about the.
That's part of it. They can't talk. They can't say anything. Here you have a contract that you sign, you get this money, and you sign something that says, okay, I won't speak on this. That needs to be an illegal contract. Something was done to you. You should have the right to speak on it. This is not a contract where I got to keep a secret in a movie, a contract where I got fired because
I told trade secrets or something like that. Yeah.
And I was sexually harassed. I was raped by somebody. And now you're forcing me to keep my mouth shut. So it's the legality around it. It's the people surrounding it. Everybody who just sits back and knows about it, knows it's wrong, and does nothing about it. These are the people I'm pissed off at, because these are the people that have created they didn't create, but they have made a way for this culture to continue. And all of these women who are coming out and finally saying something after all of these years, they're getting the guts to say something now. All of these women are speaking out on something that a handful of people allowed. That's not right.
Right.
So if you're going to send Weinstein to jail, which you should, and anybody else to jail who raped a woman under this, and you
assaulted a woman.
Right. And if you're going to fire somebody because they harassed a woman or a man, doesn't matter. If you are going to take legal action against any of these people, you need to take legal action against the people around them. Because if I'm sitting out in the car while you robbing the bank and you get in my car and we drive, I'm an accessory to the crime. And as far as I'm concerned, these are accessories to the crime.
I agree with you. And did you hear about Terry Crews actually filing a criminal report?
Yes.
For the Hollywood exec
that did that.
I forgot the guy's name who he said actually did it. But I think he was on Good Morning America or something like that, talking to Michael Strahan about the situation. Mm-hmm. Were you able to catch that at all?
I was in the gym, so no.
Okay. But we were saying, well, I'm sure a lot of people were thinking when he came out sharing his story, when the whole Harvey Weinstein thing kind of blew up, he came out sharing his story, saying it gave him like PTSD and reminded him of what he went through. And then we found out that it happened in front of his wife. It was like, who would grab your junk in front of your wife? I mean, that shows how much disrespect they have for you. But, I think maybe a lot of people were getting into his head, like, you need to name names, and I think when people found out it didn't happen too long ago and he still had an opportunity to file charges, I think that's what encouraged him to go ahead and speak out and
I'm so glad
file a police report.
I'm so glad.
And hopefully something happens, because these people need to know you can't just do whatever you want to people and get away with it, because they've gotten away with it for so long.
Okay, so moving on. I told y'all that's all I had to say about politics this week, so we getting off easy. He been out of town. He ain't done nothing yet. Okay, so got a question. I want you to I want you and as well as the listeners to just stop and think and imagine that you've got 2 children of your own. You happy, the joys of parenthood and motherhood and fatherhood.
Okay.
And you decide that the person that you are, whether it's Christian, Baptist, Muslim, but the kind person that you are, you want to make sure another woman has that opportunity to have the joy of being a mother to her own child.
Am I still imagining this?
You imagining that you
a father? Okay.
You're not a mother, but
I want you to be a good mother.
But I mean, you want to make sure this another family has a child and they get to experience the same things you experience.
Okay.
So you, as the woman, you talk to your husband. Y'all sit down and you decide, okay, we're gonna allow you to be a surrogate mother for this woman. And you sign a $35,000 contract that basically the other family is going to take care of all the medical expenses and everything. You just got to take care of yourself, take care of the baby. You go to see the doctor. The doctor implants 1 embryo into the mother, and she carries this baby, and she agrees. We're not going to have sex until the doctor says it's okay. About 6 or 7 weeks later, the doctor says it's okay, just use a condom. So you have sex with your husband, because you, God forbid, you're not going to be celibate for the next 9 months. You're a married woman, and that's just wrong to put him through that, right? So you have sex with your husband. A few weeks later, y'all go for the sonogram, and the doctor says, oh, there's 2 babies in there. You think, okay, egg split, no big deal. It happens all the time, especially with IVF. Multiple births are normal. So you go through the pregnancy, you have the baby. Now in your contract, it says that you get to see the child for 1 hour. You get a 1 hour visit before they leave. So you ask the nurse, am I going to be able to see the baby? Oh no, we doubt it. Well, what do they look like? Are they healthy? Oh yeah, they're fine. Nurse brings back a picture and you notice they don't look alike. But no reason to think anything different. They kids, whatever.
Yeah.
Time goes on. A month later, the biological mom texts you pictures of the babies. They don't look alike, do they? And you say, no, they don't. Have you wondered why? And you're like, what's going on?
Who's asking that question?
This is the biological mom now.
Oh, okay.
She's Chinese. They don't look alike. You are white. Your husband's black. This is one Chinese baby and one don't look like a Chinese baby. And so finally, the mother says, I don't think they're twins.
I think they're just 2 babies born at the same time.
Just 2 babies. Well, you go get tested, DNA test run. Come to find out, second baby is yours.
Yeah, her and her husband had the baby.
And now you want
your baby.
You want your baby. Hell, that's your child, not hers. You signed a contract to carry her child for her, which you did. You just happen to have one at the same time, so you just carried 2. You still did all the work. It wasn't like she did anything. Well, they say...
Didn't they have to go to court?
Hold on now.
Okay,
this is where it gets bad. Okay, first and foremost, the Chinese parents don't want to have nothing to do with the kid. They think about putting it up for adoption because they have legal custody because when they were in the hospital, they signed the birth certificate. So legally... that child is theirs. So they gonna put it up for adoption. Why they decided not to put it up for adoption is beyond me. Article didn't say. But They don't want to have nothing to do with it. So they immediately give it back to the surrogacy agency. And they tell that agency, you owe us $1,800 to $2,200.
Why?
Because they had to pay the medical expenses for her to have this second baby. And for taking care of the baby for a month. That's what they amounted to $18,000.
Oh, you said 18,000. I thought you said 1,800.
No, 18,000 to 22,000. I might have said 100. I'm good.
Okay, and all they
paid her was 35.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want the majority of the money back.
Okay.
Because she had 2 kids now. The agency turns around and says, "Okay, look, do you want this baby? Because we've already lined up adoptive parents for him." Excuse me? How you gonna just give my child away? But agencies already lined up adoptive parents. They basically wanted her to sign the child over to them. And she's like, "No, I want my baby." They said, "Okay, well, you got to pay that family back that $18,000 to $22,000, and on top of that, you got to give us $7,000."
Why?
Because we've been taking care of the kids since they didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
So now this family has got to get a lawyer to get back their own child.
My goodness.
They got a lawyer. They ended up paying the lawyer $3,000. They got the money that the biological mom wanted for taking care of the kid for a month and the medical expenses, but they still ended up having to pay the agency $7,000.
I wouldn't have done it.
There has got to, and this is why, people who sit up and say government got their hands in too much stuff, this is why. Because number one, the doctor that implanted the embryo knew good and dang on well he implanted one embryo. The only way that there could have been a possibility of 2 amniotic sacs for 2 different babies is if they have fraternal twins. And the only way that happens is if more than one embryo was implanted. So the doctor that implanted the embryo knew that second baby wasn't theirs. Now, whether or not that's the same doctor that delivered, I don't know. But at some point, that hospital knew that second baby was not hers.
Which is probably why they didn't let her see it.
Right. It sounds like they knew from the jump. But instead, to make sure they got paid, they didn't tell her. They only told the surrogacy company. Now, that company knew everything. This is why laws need to be in place, because everybody was worried about their money instead of the well-being of that child. This is why government needs their hands in stuff. There needs to be more regulations put on this. Now, this tripped me out. This whole story just kind of tripped me out. I'm like, how does this even happen?
Yeah, it didn't make sense. I heard it the other day. It didn't make sense.
So take you back to high school health education class. When a woman gets pregnant, her body automatically starts releasing hormones. Those hormones tell the body stop ovulating. The ovaries get plugged up, so just in case no extra eggs come down and sperm can't get up to them.
I guarantee you, I wasn't listening to that in health class.
Well, that's what happened.
Okay,
there's a plug that gets put in. The sperm can't get to the egg. But it is very rare, but it does happen that for some reason the hormones don't kick in right, and the uterus doesn't get plugged the way it's supposed to.
So additional sperm can get in.
Sperm can get in. Sperm can get into an egg. What they gonna do? Just like a man, if you can get in, what you gonna do? So you gonna do what you was made to do. So on rare occasions, it does happen. A second egg will drop, and a second child can be conceived. However, this is so rare that there have only been 12 cases reported. They say that there may be more cases, but in those cases, because the ages are so close, the gestational periods of the eggs being fertilized are so close together that doctors just even assume they're fraternal twins.
Okay, and that's why they don't look like each other.
Right, and they call it superfetation. So this was trippy to me. I had to look this up. I had to know what was going on. So it does happen. Just be aware, women, when you're getting busy with your husband, don't go getting busy with nobody else three weeks later, because you might have superfetation going on. I'm just saying.
It seems like it don't happen that often enough to actually be concerned about it.
I would be concerned after this story.
But I feel like it would be more of a concern if it was in a surrogacy situation.
Well, and that was the thing that now they're saying that there's more research to be done to see if maybe the fact that this was a surrogacy situation, that it caused the female's hormones to not react the same way. And that's why the second egg was allowed to drop.
Were the other 12 cases, were they due to surrogacy? Did they mention
they didn't
that?
Say,
okay. I feel like that'll be a strong edge towards that being the reason.
No, they didn't say. They just said a lot more research needs to be done to see if surrogacy could cause this kind of situation.
Right on.
So it's more things to think about. So if you ever decide to be a surrogate, because what this woman was doing was really, really nice. Because after having 2 babies, you've been through labor and all of that, a woman will tell you if they won't do that again or not, especially for somebody else.
Right.
So what they were doing to me was very altruistic, and to be treated the way she was treated.
Now that part was wrong. It's like
wrong.
Well, I can understand the family, being a little bit upset, but they should have understood that, like, hey, stuff happens.
You still gave me a child.
You did what I asked you to do.
If it were not for you, I would not have my child.
I kind of feel some type of way that they were going to give the other child up for adoption. What was the reason? Because they couldn't afford to take care of 2 babies, or because that baby didn't look like us?
They didn't say, but I know how I feel. But then that could be because I'm black.
I was reading this story earlier today that kind of reminded me of you because of, I don't want to say it reminded me of you because you're going to probably be offended once I tell about the story. But it's a little quick, funny story where this young lady who, she was a single mother, and I think she was a single mother, but she was by herself. She wanted to get on her grandmother's car insurance. She, multiple cars, my grandmother probably already pays cheap insurance anyway. So she called her grandmother like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I want to do. And her grandmother's like, say no more. Let me figure out what to do. Grandmother calls the insurance agent like, hey, my granddaughter wants to get on my insurance. What do we need? And he said, we need your name, driver's license number, and date of birth, and a picture straight on, and a picture taken from each side. And so the grandmother gave old girl the email address to send it to the agent, the insurance agent. And then she did it. And the following morning, the insurance agent was like, hey, hi, Alyssa. I'm going to need pictures just like you took, except it needs to be of the vehicle and not.
Oh, so what made you think of me? The dippiness of that?
Yes.
Wow.
I said, you might be offended. But when I read this, the first person I thought of was you. She sent, really? in the article, they showed the picture. She sent a front-on picture of herself, and then on her right side, and then her left side.
Because the bad thing about it is, while you telling this story, I'm sitting here going, my insurance company ain't never asked me for no pictures. But they've never asked me for pictures of my vehicle either. So.
Well, I think it depends on the insurance company. And then the fact that the granddaughter was trying to get, stop her insurance and get on her grandmother's insurance. They wanted to make sure that everything was okay with the vehicle because it sounds a little suspect. Yeah, I probably, as an insurance agent, I would have requested the same thing. But he's like, you did a good job with the photos. I appreciate it. However, this time, can you do same angles? But I'm going to need it to be of the vehicle.
Wow, that is hilarious.
And yes, I thought of you.
Anywho. Okay, so, animals are not always just like humans, right?
I don't think any animals are just like humans.
Okay, so
I don't like animals. I'm the wrong person to ask.
But I mean, the reality, let's just be real now. You know that we do things differently than dogs and cats. I mean, we have a lot of things in common, but we have a whole lot of differences.
Yeah.
So we do different things than kangaroos and the fishes in the water.
I think I would like a pet kangaroo if I had my choice. But go ahead.
Man, I'd love to see you with one so y'all can box. I want to see it kick your butt.
You do know that not all kangaroos are fighters like that. Maybe they are. I don't know.
I want to see them box.
So when you see me show up through the show with a black eye,
I know why. So, but anyway, I mean, all mammals have a lot in common, how we reproduce, things like that. How we feed our young. But we have a lot of differences, especially with humans. Humans is the only animals to use tools and guns. So here we go. But so they were doing like a safari in Africa, in Kenya. and somebody came across 2 lions. And one lion was mounted on the back of another lion.
Doggy style?
Yes.
Okay. So some lions have been watching television. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is 2 lions was in a certain situation. And he took a picture of it. Now, I don't know who this man is. Ezekiel Mututa. Well, yes, I do. He's the chief executive of the Kenya Film Classification Board. But he immediately comes out and he says, these animals are demons. Demons are inhabiting these lions, and they need to be separated because either they've been in demonic spirits are inflicting them, or they have seen gay humans doing things, and they are duplicating it.
What?
So they want to separate them and rehabilitate them and teach them that they are not supposed to do those kind of acts with other lions.
Oh.
Now, I don't care how gay you are. I don't care how homophobe you are. I don't care where you are on what side of the line you on.
Yeah.
I don't give a doggone. But you, number one, I want to see you go over there and grab them 2 lions and separate them and try to rehabilitate them. Okay? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So this man is all over social media, all over the news saying, no, they've got to be separated. We got to do this. And finally,
so this was a real thing.
This is a real thing.
Okay, I thought it was a joke.
No,
I didn't know this was the story that you were talking about.
Thing.
Okay,
and so finally, the people who know about animals come back, and they say, "Dude, you kind of jumped the gun. This is not number one. They weren't even having sex.
They were just in like what he would consider a compromising position.
It looks like a compromising position. Looked like they was getting it done doggy style. But they weren't even having sex." The lions are pack animals. You will very rarely see more than 1 lion in a pack. However, when you do, there's usually only maybe 1 or 2 more. And those the men in the pack are really close. And this is how they show affection. Okay? They say, now I'm getting ready to get a little more than I did with sex class on the other one because I had to look some things up here.
Okay.
So they say that male lions, when they mate, they zealously guard and the female that they mate with, and they have sex with them every half hour or so.
Can you withstand something like that every half hour?
Hey, we can try it.
Look at you.
I'm not the only female out there because y'all some.
I wish they could see the smile on your
now.
face. I know you want to talk about the lions, but we got to talk about you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, because I mean it may be here every half hour, but however, a male lion ejaculates almost immediately upon inserting his penis into the female. So no, that took all the fun out of it.
Oh, but he's still going strong for 30. What 20?
Going strong
29
for 30
more minutes.
In 30 minutes, she get it again. So, but after that, they say that the male lion has a yowl, some kind of yowl after he does that.
Okay.
So these things were not happening. So that's what makes them say that number one, it wasn't having sex.
Yeah.
They say instead what the photo captured was a rare moment of social bonding between the 2 lions. They spend their lives trying to reproduce to up their odds, and they work together in small groups, 2 or 3, as I said, and they're called coalitions. And these groups cooperate to drive off rival males. So these men are working together to keep the other men away from their women.
Right.
And they just
which happens in real life.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, so it's like you and your boys.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure you done put your boys in the headlock. Some of them done wrestlers especially. But I mean, you know, y'all get to doing stupid stuff.
Oh, you look at you almost cussing.
Yes, I caught myself though. But yeah, you get to doing the horseplay stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's basically what this was. And then the other thing is, my best friend, she is a zookeeper. She said the other thing is that's also how they show dominance. They show who's the leader of the pack. So the lion on top is more dominant, and the one underneath is I don't want to say submissive, but
subordinate.
He's more of a subordinate. So while Ezekiel Mutata or Mutua is running around talking about separating animals, this is the reality. And then that's the other thing is you see this a lot in animals where two male animals may look like they're mating or may look like they're doing stuff, and they're really not.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I've seen it on TV. I've never seen it in real life.
Even on TV, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Catch an Animal Planet show.
The other thing is, there was something in me that didn't know that we would be talking about lions mating.
Hey, when I saw this story, I said, "Oh yes, this we are discussing."
I did not know,
because I could not believe. My thing was not about the lions mating, because you know me, I hear something and I go even further. I want to know why, so I had to go and do the research, and I'm going to share. It
goes back to the award you got early in the episode.
For being nosy.
You're damn right.
So, but I mean, I wanted to know why and how this happened and what was really going on, because when he said it, when he first said it, I was like, okay, well, number one, animals do that, so I don't think that's what that's about. So let me go see what this is really about. But it was just his response of saying that they were inhabited by demons or they had been watching gay humans and they needed to be separated and rehabilitated.
And especially if they were lions out in the wild, like where are they watching this at? Like,
how you can separate these suckers?
Lord have mercy. I've heard it all. I've heard it all from you tonight. First of all, you're gonna be you ready to do it every 30 minutes.
Hey.
I didn't know you was a freak like that, novelty.
Hey, 30-minute break would be nice. Yeah.
Okay. Now we know.
Unless you do it right the first time and you put me to sleep, then I'll see you in the morning. But you got to do it right to put me to sleep. So I will not share anything else on this show.
I'm like, they are really getting a treat from you today.
But you know what? I guarantee you, that's not just me. It's several women that will say, yeah, I agree. You put me to sleep. Otherwise, if you got to get up and get it back in 30 minutes, it's okay. I'll let you have a breather.
Right.
On that note, I think I'm going to end this show because now I'm turning red. Anywho, anything else?
No, man. Keep on cheesing.
Good night.
Peace.